Hello, my name is Victoria Wilson Dara and I'm coming to you from Arcadia, California. I am a missionary from Uganda to America. I first left my homeland in 1974 during Idi Amin's regime. My parents and three siblings arrived in Pasadena just around summer of '74, and I attended Maranatha High School for my senior year while my father attended Fuller Seminary, and after a year he graduated with a master's in missiology and returned to Uganda, and no, actually to Kenya, because he couldn't go back to Uganda, it was too dangerous. And then that's where he started his ministry of peace and reconciliation. He traveled around the world. He was a peacemaker, and he told people about joining together, the church coming together to bring peace. Because he said, how could we as a church talk about peace and reconciliation when we ourselves are so divided? So he traveled around the world preaching about peace and reconciliation. But in 1986, he was in Uganda trying to reconcile the warring factions there when he was murdered. And that's when I decided that his message was too important to die. And I promised him that if his dream meant that much to him, then I would continue it. So I come to you today, 2014, in a time frame of human history that is very difficult, especially in this nation of America, but also around the world, globally. We're facing a crisis like never before. And as a missionary to America, I consider this as one of the toughest mission fields in the world, because not only is America affluent and self-sufficient, it is also very spiritually dead. And my commission from the Lord is to wake up the church in America, and most particularly to save our young generation, Generation Z. Because we have lost three generations, Generation X, Y, and Z, and each one gets lost, more lost and more lost. And now we've reached the end. We have no more letters. Generation Z is the generation that must turn this thing around. And that's why I'm starting a movement called the Restoration Generation. Because my father's ministry, his dream, was number one, first to reconcile man to God. We have lost our connection with our Holy Father, and that was his number one priority. Number two was to unite the churches, to come together to preach from one platform and spread the good news and the message of Jesus Christ to a hurting and lost world. Number three was to reach out for the upcoming new generation of Christians, to teach them moral obedience and just practical Christian living. And those are the tenets on which I base my dream. I have many times tried to run away from America and go back home. I pulled Jonas, the last one I pulled was 2010, and by 2011 the Lord brought me back and said, didn't I ask you to do something for me? And I said, yes. So what did I ask you to? I said, you asked me to start a movement called the Restoration Generation, that this is the generation of young people from the ages of 15 to 25 that I need to reach out and raise up an army for Jesus in this turbulent world. And so I have brought together 10 pastors in the Pasadena area to come together. It's taken 2 years to bring together a cohesive group of pastors who have put aside their silo mentalities and their, doing everything on their own, and have decided that they will band together and as a response to the spiritual and moral decline in this country. We have done many events, but now we are focusing on a very special vision, and I'm hoping that what I say to you today will captivate your spirit of adventure, your spiritual adventure inside of you, so that you can join us in this amazing opportunity to reach our generation, the Generation Z. We are planning a college and university tour, a Christian college and university tour. See, I spent a good part of 7 years of my life in either colleges or universities in this country, so I understand what young people are going through. I also have a card-carrying member of Generation Z as a son. So as I started this fight and this battle as my father's daughter, but now I carry it on as Jordan's mother because I need to see a world change for my son, not only my son, but also the grandchildren that I hope to have. And I'm hoping that this is one factor that we can come together around. We can unite. We've talked about unity over and over, but no, there's no unity. What's happening? The church has become so ghettoized. You know, we retreat into our little Christian ghettos and we don't unite. It's time to unite, and we need something to unite us because, you know, we have Jesus that should reunite us, but for some strange reason, Christians have failed to unite even around that one central message. So now, as we come toward, I know that we love our children, we all love our children, we want a better future, and so therefore I'm asking that we come together. We have identified 10 universities, Christian universities in the Southern California area. What an amazing feat it would be if 10 of you chapel leaders, chapel coordinators, directors of student life will come together and determine that this is important, especially with what's coming down the pike. We are time barred with this vision because what we're trying to do is get into these universities before February the 14th. There's a movie coming out that most of you have heard about called 50 Shades of Grey, the movie. The trilogy of books was so dangerous and destructive to this society that can you imagine what the film will do? So we want to get into the chapels. Every school, if the 10 of you will come together and say, yes, we'll give you a chapel. I understand that you have your chapels already organized until 20 whatever. I understand that. You're busy people, you don't have time. But I don't think that God made a mistake in selecting you to be in this vision. However, if you choose not to, then basically you're telling the Lord that He made a mistake with putting you in charge of those students. But those students need to be a part of this vision because they are going to be the beginnings of a movement that could very well change this nation. And we desperately need a change in this nation. We have gone so far. We have never been this far before. And so it's time for desperate measures, demands for desperate measures. And so here we are asking 10 of you to come together. If we can meet on the 22nd, I know that you're far-flung. Some of you are in Santa Barbara, some of you are in San Diego, but if we can meet together in a central location, we shall give you the location. For one Saturday, a few hours to fast and pray together and to seek God's will in this. And then we can identify the dates in which we can come. I can come with my pastors, some pastors who will come and pray within the audience as I speak and present the wake-up call that God has put in my heart for young people. They need to hear a rousing call to take up arms. I know they want to do better. They want to be heroes, not zeros. And so if they have someone with a message who can bring it to them and tell them that it's time for them to stand up and be the leaders, because traditionally it's young people who make the difference in the world, who start movements, and so that's what we need. We want you to come together and give us a chance before February 14th to come in and talk about this movie and tell them how dangerous it is because unfortunately even Christian women are thinking it's okay, and it's the darkest, deepest sexual fantasies that are going on in that movie that don't need to be in our Christian colleges. And then there's another movie called Old Fashioned that's coming out at the same day. So we want to juxtapose the two together and tell these young people that that movie, 50 Shades, is not for you, but Old Fashioned is. If we can make Old Fashioned a box office hit on that day, and this is going to be a very discreet movement. We're not coming with razzle dazzle and flashes and cameras and stuff. We're coming in quietly. This has to be a stealth operation. We want to come in and before because giving the other side attention, even the negative attention, is not good. So we need to come in quietly, and by the time the movies come out, it'll be too late for anybody to make any changes. So I'm hoping that you will join us. A pastor will be in touch with you, and you can let us know if this is something that's exciting to you, and if you feel that your students really need a pickup and a challenge, and that you are willing to be God's instrument in this time. We thank you for your time, and you will hear from us soon, and hope you join us. Thank you.